Thank you, Jennifer, for that PowerPoint presentation, and thank you everyone for joining us today for the demonstration of the employee self-service system. And now I would like to take you into a live demonstration of what you'll see once you log into the employee self-service system. So what you see on the screen now is what you will see once you do obtain your credentials on October the 12th and once you are logged into the employee self-service system. So the first thing I would like to demonstrate is the navigation. So you have a couple of ways you can navigate through the system. First being you can navigate through the menu tree that's located in the upper left portion of your screen, or you can navigate to the same areas by clicking on the hyperlinks within the tiles located on your dashboard. So first let's take a look at the payment tile, and let's click into the payment statement. Now once you click the payment statement, it's going to open up a new window allowing you the opportunity to log into MyAlign. Now the first thing you're going to need to do is to obtain credentials to log into MyAlign. So once you click into pay statement, you're going to want to click on register for MyAlign, and once you do that you will receive your login credentials, at which point you will log in using your username and your password on the MyAlign screen. So to navigate away from this area, we're simply going to click on the X and it will close that window. So let's take a look next at your federal electronic W-4 information. So clicking on the hyperlink, it's going to navigate us to a new area where we can view our federal W-4 detailed information. Now to see the details, we're simply going to highlight the line item by clicking in the box next to that line of information. You'll notice we have more details located in the lower portion of our screen, so we're going to use the scroll bar to navigate to the next lower portion of our screen. You'll notice the first thing that we see is our personal information. Now your personal information is not something that you can change yourself. You'll need to contact the HR department through Ask HR located in your quick links of your employee self-service portal, and we'll show you how to navigate to that area in a moment. So this information can only be changed by contacting your Ask HR department. So let's go ahead and minimize this area, and we'll scroll down a little bit further. Now I'd like to point out that Jennifer and I are not HR experts. We're not equipped to answer HR specific questions. We're here to demonstrate the navigation of the employee self-service portal. If you do have questions where your W-4 information or your personal information within the employee self-service portal, if you have questions about that information, please contact the Ask HR portal and we will show you where that's at in just a moment. So to make changes within your W-4 information, you can simply use the drop down menu arrows, and you can make a selection from your options within that drop down area, or you can simply highlight within the boxes and you can apply the information there for the number of allowances that you'll be claiming, as well as any additional withholdings you would like withheld from your paycheck. By navigating a little bit further to the lower portion of the screen, you can also make changes to your claim exemptions. If you do have questions and you don't wish to contact your HR department, your Ask HR portal, you can simply navigate to the IRS website by clicking the hyperlink in the lower portion of your screen. Now I'd like to also point out that your W-4 information will carry over from the current system that you're using. So the system that you're utilizing today, that information both in your W-4 information as well as in your personal profile information will be carried over, but it is always a good idea, as Jennifer mentioned previously, go in and double check that information just to verify that the selections that you prefer are actually in the system. So let's go ahead and navigate to the upper portion of the screen. Now no matter where you are in the employee self-service system, you can always click on the SAP NetWeaver Business Client icon and you'll be navigated back to your home screen. You also have the availability to view and download state withholdings tax forms. Now we're not going to click on this, but once you do click on that tax form, it will open it up in an Adobe format, at which point you can actually print that out or email it to yourself, whichever you choose. So as Jennifer pointed out earlier, we do have options that are on the employee self-service portal that do not apply to all locations. So what we're going to do is cover the areas that do apply to all locations, and then we will look at the time recording section that only applies to ABB and Power One employees. So let's go ahead and click into the team calendar. Now the team calendar information, that does apply to all locations. So once you access your team calendar, you'll notice you can quickly and easily view members of your team, as well as quick and easy information such as the current day of the week, as well as in this example, Mr. Hunter has a holiday on the 7th, as well as 2 absences where he has leave requests that have been approved in the system. This person has also sent in a request to the manager for an additional leave that has not been approved by the manager yet. So this is just a quick and easy way for you to view the team calendar, and this way you can make a request for yourself accordingly. So to navigate away from this window, let's go ahead and click on the X. Now that we've viewed team calendar, I'm going to go ahead and navigate to a little bit lower on the dashboard, and let's take a look at our personal information. So if I want to view my personal profile, I can simply click on a personal profile within that personal information tile, and it's going to navigate me to my personal profile. Now, as I mentioned earlier, personal data is something that you cannot change within the self-service portal. You will need to reach out to the Ask HR portal and ask HR to make any changes that you deem necessary. So let's go ahead and click into the addresses section. By clicking on the expand icon, I can view the addresses that are on file, as well as add an additional address should I choose to do so. Now, I've already added an additional address, but to show you what that screen looks like, I can simply click on the editing pencil, and it will navigate to that window. Now, you'll notice that anytime you see the blue asterisk within the employee self-service portal, you'll know that that is a required field, and you'll need to input data into that field. Once you input all of the address information, you can simply navigate to the lower portion of the screen, and you'll see that we can check a validity date. So in this demonstration, I have actually chose validity date of September the 30th. So in this demonstration, I have loaded an email address, or I'm sorry, I've loaded an address that I want to become valid on the 30th of September. So once I make all of the necessary changes, or input all of the information that I deem necessary or that is required, I can simply click on the Save and Back, and I'll be navigated back to the previous screen. And in all of the sessions, all of the areas within the employee self-service, anytime you make a change, edit, or delete, you'll notice that you will get a confirmation message in the upper left portion of your screen verifying the changes that you've made. Also, within the employee self-service system, anytime you see a pencil, that is an editing option, and anytime you see a trash can, that is a delete option. So those lines of information can be deleted. So let's go ahead and minimize the address section, and we'll look at our communication methods. So in this demonstration, I can add other means of communication. Now, the communication information and anything within your personal profile information is carried over from the current system you're using into the new system, but also you can add additional communication or additional information within your personal profile should you choose to do so. Now, let's go ahead and click on the add icon, and let's go ahead and add a private email address. Now, all of the information within this area is private and can only be accessed by the HR department, so your team members as well as managers will not be able to access this information. So I'm going to go ahead and just type in a email address, and you'll input that information and click Save and Back to be navigated back to the previous window, and you'll notice that that information was saved successfully. Once again, I can edit or delete this information. So I'm going to go ahead and just minimize my communication methods, and I'm going to click on and expand the bank information. Now, as Jennifer pointed out previously, you can have up to 4 banks in the system at one time. You'll notice in this demonstration I have my main bank information. This is where if I have a direct deposit, that direct deposit will be deposited into this main bank. But let's say that I would like to have a portion of that main deposit distributed to other banks. I can have up to 3 additional banks outside of my main bank for those deposits. Now, I already have this information entered into the system, but if I did not have the 4, I could click on add, and I could add additional bank information. So let's go ahead and click on the editing icon so you can see what that information would look like if you made that selection. You'll notice that you need to add the bank routing number as well as select the account type. You'll need to add your account number information as well as the payment method. You can also make input a percentage. You can make a selection as to what percentage of your main bank deposit you would like deposited into this savings account. In this demonstration, you'll notice that I've made a selection. So I have typed in $100 into the amount that I would like withheld from my main bank deposit and deposited into this savings account. Once I have all of the information in as I choose, I can click on Save and Back and be navigated back to the previous screen. And as I said, you can have up to 4 banks in the system at one time, and if you do make any changes or additions to your bank information, it can take up to 4 pay periods for that information to actually go into effect. So let's go ahead and minimize this area, and let's click into Family Members, Dependents, and Emergency Contacts. To add information to this area, simply click on the Add icon, and you'll notice the options will populate, allowing you to make a selection from the drop-down menu. In this demonstration, I have already added a stepchild, so let's go ahead and click the editing icon, and we'll take a look at that screen as well. So you'll notice the required fields with the asterisks. You'll need to enter a first and last name for the stepchild, as well as make a selection for the birth date and the gender. You also have options towards the lower portion of the screen where you can add any additional information about this stepchild. Once you've made those changes or input the information that's required, you can simply click Save and Back and be navigated back to the previous window. And at any time you can add, edit, or delete the information that's within your family members, dependents, and emergency contacts. And as I mentioned before, this information is private and can only be accessed by the HR department. So we'll minimize that area, and the smoker status applies to Baldor employees only, so we will not be covering that. They will cover that information when they have their open enrollment training. So let's go ahead and navigate back to my home screen by clicking on the SAP NetWeaver icon in the upper left hand corner, and we'll navigate a little lower on the screen, and you'll notice once again that within my personal information I can go ahead and click into my Federal W-4 hyperlink once again to be navigated back to that area. So sometimes there's a couple of ways to be navigated to different areas within the system. So let's talk about the quick links area. So you do have the quick links area, which is a really handy tile to use, because by clicking into the MyHR ESS how-to documentation hyperlink, you'll be taken to all of the training videos as well as the how-to documentation and the Q&A from each of the training sessions that Jennifer and I have conducted. All of that information will be there at your fingertips, where you can quickly and easily access that information. You also have quick and easy access to the Ask HR portal. As we had mentioned previously, anytime you have questions about anything within your employee self-service system, or you would like to make changes to any of your personal information, areas that are not self-service options within the employee self-service system. So anytime you're within this area and you have issues with the employee self-service system, or you would like to ask HR, simply click on the Ask HR portal hyperlink, and you'll be navigated to a new window where you can click on Ask HR, and this is where you can navigate to if you have any questions with the employee self-service system, and you can ask your HR department where we have an HR team who addresses the issues that come in through the Ask HR portal. So to navigate away from that area, I'm simply going to click on the X, and I'll be taken back to my employee self-service portal. So let's go ahead and navigate to the lower portion of the screen, and as I mentioned before, and Jennifer as well, there are certain sections that don't apply to all employees. So the working time and time off area will only apply to the ABB and Power 1 employees. This tile does not apply to Baldor employees, so if you are a Baldor employee, this area will not apply to you. You will not record your working time, and you will not use the leave requests and holidays system to request leave time. So we will address any questions for all of the sections in just a moment and it'll take us about 5 minutes to get through this area. So Baldor employees, if you'll just bear with us for a moment, and ABB and Power 1 employees, when you are recording your time, this is your electronic version of a time card. So what you're going to do is click on the record working time. This is going to open a new window, allowing you the opportunity to view your timesheet. Now, if you'll notice, we currently have a vacation request that's populated in the line item. So I'm going to go ahead and just navigate to a different pay period so that I can demonstrate to you how to enter your time. So with that being said, you're going to want to navigate to the work week in which you want to enter your time for. So to do so, simply click on the calendar, and you can make a selection from the drop down and then click on apply to apply that selection. Once you have the current week populated, you'll notice that you have a planned week that's located in the top row of your timesheet. Now, if you're a full-time employee, you will have a 40-hour work week, working 8 hours a day. This is your planned work week. So now we're going to go into the first blank line that we have available, and we're going to click on the drop-down menu, and we're going to make a selection. We're going to select at work, and we're going to enter in the time that we are actually at work. Now, let me point out that this is not project time. We're not entering project time into this field. We are entering the time you're at work, irregardless of what you're working on while you're at work. You want to enter the hours that you're actually at work, whether you're on call or whether you're any time that you would normally enter into a time card, you're going to enter that information into this timesheet. So the manual process to do that is to click on the at work drop down and then go into each column that is identified by a day of the week and the date, and we're going to simply enter in the amount of time that we were at work each of those days. Now let's say that you worked overtime on a particular day. Simply enter that amount of time into the field and enter any overtime. Also, if you work a portion of the day that day, let's say you don't work your entire 8 hours, you can go ahead and submit that time in also with using your decimal point. If you work 7.5 hours this particular day, just enter in 7.5 for your 7.5 hours. Once you have the time entered, you can simply click on Save, and that is going to submit your timesheet to your manager for approval. So let me show you another quick and easy way to enter your time. So to delete this line of information, I'm simply going to click on the trash can, and I'm going to highlight the line item, and we're going to copy from the planned work week that we have on the top row. So I'm going to highlight the first available line item by clicking in the box next to that line of information, and I'm going to click on the copy command, and I'm going to copy from target hours. So what this is going to do, once again, is going to copy your target hours into your work week, which is 8 hours a day, but we can override that information. Let's say that Tuesday we worked 12 hours overtime. Simply override that 8 with a 12 and then submit those hours. Now, once I submit these hours to my manager, they will then approve the overtime that I worked over and above the planned work week. So to do so, let's just click on Save, and it's going to give me a warning message letting me know that the number of hours that I recorded exceeds the actual target hours, which is fine because once again, your manager will have to approve these timesheets in order for them to process through the system. But my data has been saved, so I'm good to go for the week beginning 9/21. So let's go ahead and demonstrate. As you saw earlier, we had a vacation request that was populated within the system. So to navigate between pay periods, I can simply click the previous period or next period and be navigated 1 week at a time to those work weeks. Now you have 2 weeks to enter in work time. So after that 2 weeks, your manager will then be prompted on his manager's self-service portal to request that you fill out your timesheet. So if you do have vacation requests that have been entered into the system, your manager has 2 weeks to approve those. They will automatically be populated on your timesheet as you see here, and then you have up to 2 weeks to enter in the remainder of the time or to delete this vacation request, and I'll show you how to do that once we get into the leave request information. So let's go ahead and take a look. We have 4 hours on Wednesday as well as 2 hours on Friday in which we've requested vacation and the manager has approved that time off. So that information is automatically populated in the system for you, so you don't have to submit that time manually. But what we do need to do is enter in the rest of the time that we worked on the remainder of the week. So once again, I'm going to use the drop down arrow and I'm going to make a selection at work. And Monday I worked 8 hours. Tuesday I worked 10 hours. I took half of a day off on Wednesday, so I'm going to go ahead and enter in the remainder of that 8-hour day. Thursday, 8 hours, and then we took 2 hours off early on Friday, so we need to go ahead and enter in that we worked the remainder of that day, that 8-hour day, and populate that with the number 6. So once we have that information populated, you can then hit enter and you can save and submit that to your manager. Now let's go ahead and navigate back by using the drop down arrow. I want to navigate back to September the 7th, which was a holiday, and we can demonstrate to you that the holidays are also populated. This is a really good example because not only do I have a holiday populated on Monday, this is a company holiday, it's going to be pre-populated in the system for you, but I also have a vacation day that that the manager has approved for me on Thursday. So now I need to enter time where I worked on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. So once again, I'm going to navigate down to the next available line, and let's say that I worked on Tuesday, I worked 8 hours, and on Wednesday I worked 8 hours, but then let's say Friday I was sick. I'm going to go ahead and enter that time. Once again, I'm going to drop down to the next available line. I'm going to use my drop down menu and I'm going to navigate down to the lower portion of my selections until I find sick, and I'm going to click on sick and personal day. And on Friday, I'm going to enter in the amount of time that I was sick, which was 8 hours. Once again, I can click on enter and I could submit this time to my supervisor. So that is how you enter in your time on your timesheet, and remember to always click on save to actually save that information. So let's go ahead and navigate away from our timesheet information by clicking the X, and I'll be navigated back to my home screen. So now let's talk about the leave requests and holidays section of your working time and time off area. So let's go ahead and start at the bottom. I'm going to click on my company holiday calendar. When I do that, it's going to open a new window and it's going to allow an opportunity to view the holidays that my facility observes. So this is a quick and easy way for you to view the holidays that your facility observes, and then we're going to just click on X to navigate away from that area. And let's go ahead and take a look at my view my leave quota balances by clicking on the hyperlink. Now what this is a quick and easy way for you to see how much entitlement time you still have available to request leave. So if you'll notice, this particular employee, their facility observes carryover, vacation, as well as floating holidays time. You have a total entitlement time in which you can request leave request against this entitlement time. Now, once you have a leave request and your manager has approved that, it will then be deducted from your total entitlement time, and you will have the remainder of that time calculated for you in this field. So I'll know that for the year I had 100 carryover hours, and now I've taken some of that time and I have 76 hours remaining that I can request leave against. Now, this is just a view only screen. There's no changes that can be made manually on this screen. So we're going to go ahead and click on X, and we'll be navigated away from this area. So let's go ahead and look at the Create Leave Request hyperlink. By clicking on that, a new window will then open, allowing the opportunity to enter in information for the required fields, but also I can add additional information should I choose to do so. So by using the drop-down arrow, I can make a selection as to floating holiday, bereavement, vacation, or jury duty, and I'm going to go ahead and just select on vacation. Then I want to select a start and end date. Now, if I'm taking a one-day vacation, I'm simply going to select that one day that I would like to have off. So let's go on out a little ways so that it doesn't interfere with anything we already have entered in the test system. And I'm going to select November the 2nd as the day that I would like to take off. So the end date will be the same. We're going to navigate back out to November the 7th or the 2nd. And I'm going to select that day that I would like to have off and send in a leave request to my manager for approval. Now, if I were to submit this leave request as is, it's going to automatically populate my absent hours with the hours in which I have planned. So since I'm a full-time employee, it's going to populate this with 8 hours. So let's say I only want to take a half of a day off. I'm simply going to override the zeros with a 4, and I'm going to indicate to the system that I want to take 4 hours off. Now, you can also use decimal places as well and make a selection that you would like to have 4.5 hours off. And you can enter that into the system. If you would like to leave a note to your manager, you can feel free to type that into the new notes field in the lower portion of this area. Once we have all of the information populated, we can click on check. Now, what check does is it looks at your entitlement time that you have available, and it checks to make sure that that you have this time in your entitlement bucket so that you can take that time off. If you do not have that entitlement time available, then you will not be able to submit this leave request, and it will not be submitted to your manager. It's going to reject it. Now, I do understand that there is an option available to employees that do not have entitlement time available to them. Their manager can actually send a request through the Ask HR portal asking that entitlement time be loaned to you from the upcoming year, and the HR department would then populate your entitlement time with those hours that your manager has requested of them. But just know that until that is done, you cannot submit a leave request without entitlement time as we viewed on the previous screen. So let's go ahead and click on check, and you'll notice that it tells me that my leave request was successful. So now we can submit this to my manager by clicking on send. Now, once I click send, it's going to give me one more opportunity to view the information I'm submitting to my manager. I can cancel it to continue editing, or I can click on OK, and it's going to submit that to my manager. Now, once I do that, you'll notice that it's navigated me immediately to the Leave Data Overview area. So what this is an easy way for you to view the information for the leave request that you have in the system currently. So you'll notice we can see several bits of information by viewing the screen. We can see the type of vacation or the type of leave that we've requested. We can see the start date as well as the end date of those leave requests. who is the processor who is actually going to go in the system and approve these for us, as well as the status of those leave requests and the hours in which we would be absent if we were to take those leave requests. Now, if you will notice, we do have a rejected, approved, sent. So these sent items have been sent to your manager, but your manager has not approved them at this time. You'll notice also that we have an approved status, so your manager has approved this particular vacation, and this vacation request will then be populated on your timesheet as we saw earlier. You'll notice we have a rejected, so let's go ahead and take a look by clicking on the editing pencil. We can see that the manager should have left us a note letting us know why they rejected this particular leave request, and let's say that we needed to make adjustments to that leave request, and then they would go ahead and approve it for us. We can make those necessary adjustments and once again click on send, and it will once again send that leave request to the manager for approval. I'm going to go ahead and just click on cancel, so we'll be navigated back to the previous screen. And anytime you see an editing pencil or you see a trash can, you'll know that you do have the option to go in at any time and edit or delete that leave request. Now, let's say that you do have a leave request that has been approved by the manager, but you change your mind and you do not want to take that leave request. You can simply click on the trash can and you can delete that leave request, and it will be removed then from your timesheet. But you do need to do that within a 2-week period, because as I mentioned earlier, timesheets do need to be submitted within a 2-week time frame, both prior to the current week that you're in as well as moving forward into beyond the current week that you're in. So with that being said, we can just simply click on the X and close that window. And if we were to click on the time off request overview, you would see the same screen that we just navigated away from. So that's an easy way to click into the current leave request that you have available in the system at the time. So with that being said, that is the conclusion of our live demonstration. Now what I would like to do is pull up the slideshow from our or one of the slides from our PowerPoint presentation. So just bear with me one moment while I access that slide. Okay, so what I would like to do now is discuss some of the frequently asked questions that we've taken in from our previous training sessions. So the first question is, do salaried employees fill out a timesheet, or who is required to fill out a timesheet? So to answer that question, all ABB and Power One employees that are hourly or salary non-exempt will fill out a timesheet. This feature is not available to Baldor employees, as we had indicated earlier. So if you are a salary exempt employee, or you are a Baldor employee, you will not utilize the timesheet system in the employee self-service. So this only applies to ABB and Power One employees that are hourly or salary non-exempt. The next question is, are floating holidays facility specific? And to answer that question, yes, they are. So if your facility currently observes floating holidays, then the floating holiday will be available to you in your entitlement time on the employee self-service quota balance hyperlink that you saw in the working time and time off section. So the next question is, do salaried employees have to fill out a leave request, or who is required to fill out a leave request? So every ABB as well as Power One employee must fill out a leave request in the system anytime they want to take time off. So this can be done prior to the time that you would like to take your leave, but it can be requested up to 2 weeks after you've taken your leave. As we indicated previously when we're talking about the timesheet, you do have a 2-week window in which you can submit your timesheets, as well as you can submit your leave request. The exception to this rule is, of course, once again, a Baldor employee or a Power One hourly employee. So it applies to all ABB employees and Power 1 employees that are salaried. The exception to that rule is a Baldor employee or a Power 1 hourly employee. So the hourly employees will, of course, use the Kronos system for Power 1, and they won't need to submit a leave request. Also, remember, if you have a leave request that is currently in the system, you'll need to go in and resubmit those leave requests after or as of October the 12th. So the personal information as well as your W-4 information will carry over to the new system, but the leave requests will not carry over into the new system. So once you have access to the system on October the 12th, you're going to want to go into the system, into the employee self-service portal, and you're going to resubmit leave requests that you may have already had pre-approved in the current system that you're using, but those will not carry over. So please go in and resubmit those in the new employee self-service portal. Also, will we have access to the MyHR portal externally without having to VPN into a server? And yes, you will have access to the new MyHR employee self-service system externally from any internet connected device. So by using the link you see in the lower portion of this screenshot you're viewing now, and you will use your email address as well as your AD password. So your AD password is the password that you use when you log into your computer each day. So those are just some of the frequently asked questions that have come into our chat box during the previous session. So hopefully they may have those questions may have been the same ones that you have, and we would have already answered those for you. So with that being said, that concludes our live demonstration, and now we're going to go into the chat box, and we'll turn to Jennifer and have her share those questions with us, and we'll answer those as time allows. So just one moment, and bear with us while we change over to answer those questions.